Right. River Rother, or if you holly, Rother. Bit different this morning. I've come down to a river. It's 10 minutes from my house, and it's the River Rother. And I'm in Killermarsh. And there's a big factory behind me, just below Station Road. And I come for a walk down here the other day, and apparently it's full of fish. And to make it even more interesting for you, I don't do any river fishing. So, this looks like a nice area, doesn't it? I reckon with a few maggots and a bit of ground bait from yesterday, and you can't come river fishing without a hardy, I'm going to have a chuck just downstream in front of these. I've got a bit of a tree line on my far side. I'm going to have a chuck down in front of there, just with a swim feeder, maggots, ground bait. I've got a few micro pellets, and just see if I can like winkle out a few small fish. You know, it's not huge barbel territory here, but it is definitely something new. So, without further ado, I'm going to get it set up. It's nice and easy. I'll talk you through tackle, and if we can catch a few fish, it's going to be a bonus for you. And you'll have to excuse the outfit. If I'm going to be walking down here with a load of green stuff, I've got to be in character, and I'll can hunt as well. You know the rules. So let's get set up and see if we can catch a fish from a river. Oh, all excited now. Oh, I don't think I'll be able to get back up out of this. So what have I got today? I have got a hardy swim feeder, 10-foot rod. Not ideal for today's climate of river fishing. I'm fully aware of that. Landing mat. That can sit behind me there. And then bank stick for me rod rest. I've also got some of you might like this. I've also got a collapsible landing net head. I know, you weren't ready for it, I know. But we're here and we're doing it, aren't we? So, collapsible landing net head, just a cheap landing net handle. Just a cheap landing net handle. You can pick these landing net handles up from just general stores now. There's one called Boys in Workshop near me, and it's like £4 for a landing net handle. Now, real choice. I've got a Garcia Mitchell 300. Well, if I'm going to be using a hardy from 60s, I need to try and do the next best thing. And I have got some really old 50s, 60s reels, but Garcia Mitchell should be ample for today. So that'll go on the rod. And then this little tackle box, which you see in nearly every video of my cheap rod, cheap box challenge. Just a tackle box I got a few weeks ago. It's got a few shots in there, a few floats, just in case you want to change and trot a float down, etc. And then just maggot tubs full of ground bait from yesterday's video. So nice and easy. So I'm going to get set up, talk you through my rig, why I've chose it, why I'm going to use it, and more importantly, why I'm going to be using it on the River Rother today here. It's really calm. We've not had no rain for a few days. I just thought it might be a nice opportunity to come down and just get a bit of river fishing done. I don't do any of it, like none of it. So hopefully this can be the start of something good. So if any of you river anglers are out there and you notice anything that I'm not doing right, please, this is the opportunity to judge me. But put it in the comments so I can see it, because without it, I won't have a clue what I'm doing. And I've also got a bit of a classic rest head here. Screw that on there. And got a swing rest. Like that, look. River angler. And I never knew it. Right, let's get set up. Right, so I'm just going to talk you through the actual rig itself. So a bit of an idiot setup. Fishing 8-pound mainline through no shot leader. And what I've done is, I don't know if you can see that, but I've got a running fixed feeder rig. So all you do is you tie a huge loop, but with your feeder on the line. So a double overhand knot, which ties it here. Then you bring your feeder all the way down, and then you do another overhand loop up here, trim the tag off, and you've got a free running feeder rig in there, and it means it won't come down your hook length and it won't go up your main line. And then I've got a 6 pound section of fluorocarbon there, which is like acting as a bit of a boom. And then I've got all the way down to a 0.13 hook length with a size 16 barbless hook on there. And that is just really simple. Any big fish, or if it takes me into any far bank foliage, just going to crack me off there. I'll get my boom back. My boom helps lay my hook length out onto the riverbed as the flow. It's only a steady flow, but as the flow pushes downstream, that'll just help kick everything away from my feeder. I'm using a Camazon black cap, and it's a 50-gram feeder. Might sound quite heavy, but the toe that you see on the top, it's normally multiplied by 2 underneath, from what professional river anglers have told me. Down to the rod, using a Hardy swim feeder 10-foot rod with a Garcia Mitchell reel, no line clip. It's got a drag on it if we need it, but other than that, it's just going to be some really simple basic fishing. So I've not cast out yet. You all know this. It's all raw. It's all like, you know, here and now. If I don't catch anything, I just don't catch anything. So I'm going to chuck a feeder out downstream, not too close to those trees, because I can see a branch just breaking the surface. So I do think it's actually coming a lot further out than you can see. So I want to fill my feeder up, have a chuck over there, and just see if we can get a couple of bites off some small fish. So let's fill this feeder up. I've got my maggots, I've got my groundbait, skim and bream dark and GG green combined, and I've also got some Revolution baits, Brazim Supreme ready pellets. So I'm going to keep it nice and simple to start with. If there's any fish in and around the area where I'm going to be casting to, I just want to get the attention of those fish first. If I then get a positive response, or I get any bites at all, again, I'm not a river angler. I don't know if anyone fishes this place quite often. I have no idea. A few people have told me they've been down and they've caught a few bits and bobs, but, you know, they're people that live in this area. I grew up where there were sort of no rivers, just all still waters. Wow, this is new. Garcia Mitchell, the bay alarm's the opposite way around as well. So let's go over there. There we go, that's it bottom. And then down onto the rest, just next to me here. And then what I can do, I've got it so top of my rod is just breaching the trees in the background over there. And what I can do is I can just watch for indications or any tiny knocks or anything. Should I get a bite? It's quite a stiff rod as well, so it's not the most forgiving rod in the world. But I didn't want to come down here with something really light if I were going to be playing like, you know, 6 ounce, 8 ounce roach in a tow. Let's keep it nice and simple. Just bait, unhooking mat. I've got a rag next to me as well, landing net, disgorger. Just pretty much the basics. If you can walk with it, then you've got the very minimum. Oh my life. Look at that. A little minnow on a size 16 up, absolutely impaled in his through his mouth. Oh my life. Well, we've not blanked, that's for sure, but look at him. Little tiny minnow. Not had a minnow for years. You know what? Keep nets going out. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. We might have a red letter minnow day. So I want to put him in there. Well, I've taught you how to catch minnow, haven't I? Hey, so let's carry on. That time I chucked into this inside edge. I've not been recording for the best part of an hour simply because I've just been catching crayfish. And that's not something I'm going to be putting on YouTube because, one, I don't want to catch them, and two, they're absolutely no good for what I'm trying to show you. And crayfish do bully fish out of a swim. Absolutely magnificent today, by the way. I've chucked there. You can probably see that. Let that sink. There we go. just on that inside edge in here, because this is like a long left-hand bend of this river, and my mind tells me that fish might hang around on this inside edge because that's where everything's going to sort of collate. Little tiny knots, just little tiny little. Let's have a go. No. Oh, we have. We have got one. Another minnow. Well, we are well and truly in minnow territory now. 2 little tiny minnows. Let's get him in now. Because like fish will go to feeding fish. I think that's got to be fish on. No. No fish. That were really weird. I've not caught minnows for a long time. Oh, that's got to be on. Oh my God, it's solid. What is that? Right, I'm going for a walk, people. I think I'm snagged where I think there's fish on. Can you see it? Can you guys see what I've got? Oh, it's a crayfish. Brilliant. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's keep him in water so I'm not... Oh my God, what's going on? Tell you what, let's just get him out. So, yes, we have caught a fish, but no, it's not the one we after. He's got a big claw missing, look. Oh. Even that one's a bit deformed. Let's see if we can say hook. Have you got my hook, pal? You have, I can see it, fella. Don't grab me though. Yeah, so another crayfish. Cannot go back in the water. I don't care what you have to do, but if I can just contain him here between these maggot tubs, and hopefully he'll pass before the session is over. But not what we want at all. You know, as this session has progressed on, the water's just become more clearer and clearer to the point where I can now see the bottom probably 4 meters out, maybe even further. I do know that there's some drops out there because I can feel the feeder going in as I cast out, but there is not a lot of water in front of me at all, right out, probably about 4 or 5 meters out. And it's becoming gin clear as I'm talking. And I think that's why we're in the situation that we're in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have another 10 minutes or probably half hour and just keep chucking over there. See if I can get a couple of bites, because I do know there's some deeper water over there. But that explains why we've had a couple of minnows and not really much else. Again, it's a throwaway day. It's not like I have to catch fish today to show you. I've always said that if I ever go fishing and don't catch anything or next to nothing, I'll still tell you about it, because, you know, nobody wants to see, well, you might want to see it, but nobody wants to see somebody just going out and having the best days fishing all the time. There's a lot of water out there, a lot of water. So I'm going to probably stick now to chucking it out there. on the inside of this bend, it's just really shallow, which to me doesn't make sense because the water's hitting this bank as it flows. So I'm not quite sure, but chuck it out there in that deeper water, it's probably 2/3 of the way across, about 5 metres off them trees over on that far bank. Right, so I'm going to call it, just as I was about to say that, I just had a little tiny, I'm going to call it, so I don't do any river fishing, so what I want you guys to do is get in comments and say, on a particular stretch of river like this, on Rother today, you know, what you do, what sort of method would you stick to? And yeah, so jangled up. So obviously I had a little bite then just before I reeled in, and it's done me. But I mean, what would you do? What would be your sort of preferred, you know, attack or approach on a little venue like this? Drop it in the old comments. You know, what you try and teach me how to river fish, if that's ever a thing. But anyway, I want to get my minnows out, get a catch shot for you, and this will be the shortest video, the shortest river fishing video on YouTube. At least we can say that much, eh? So there we have it. I've not had a catch shot like this for a while, but there's my 2 little minnows. Not a session that I'm pleased about, but I've never fished on here before, and I don't do any river fishing whatsoever. So 2 minnows, and I've had 5 crayfish, which I'm not all happy about, on a gin clear river, completely blind, no idea what I'm doing. So the point of this video is, I want you guys to get in comments and recommend a stretch of river where I can go and just learn to river fish, yeah? I'm not daft, I know what I'm doing, but I ain't river fish properly, yeah? Now, compared to years ago, river fishing is just a completely different kettle of fish for me. And I'd like to be able to, you know, sort of expand my expertise. And not only that, but quite enjoy the thought of catching some barbel and some chub. Yeah. Anyway, from me, and these 2 little tiny minnows, which I want to put back in a second. They've got enough water on this mat to survive for a week. Thanks for watching. It's only a short one, but again, I had a couple of hours this morning and I thought I'd come down, just have a quick chuck. It's not been a wasted day at all, but I will see you guys on the next one.